Patriot Nation, unite. I'm very excited to be back in the saddle now after spending most of the first quarter of 2025 welcoming in and giving quality time to my first grandchild, a beautiful little girl. So as excited as I am about that, I'm also excited now to be back and helping you great folks either buy your first home or subsequent homes, either in Texas or all across the country. So in this video, we're going to talk about down payment assistance programs 2025, because last year I made two very good videos, very well received, with the best down payment programs in 2024 and the best down payment program in Texas. But guess what? Conditions change. Grant levels change, down payment assistance programs change their conditions. 2025 is a brand new year, and the same recommendations that were made in 2024 no longer apply to 2025. So in this video, we're going to talk about what are the best loan programs, down payment programs that you can experience. So if that's of interest to you, let's kick off this rodeo right now. I'm 𝐂𝐓𝐒, and I am the Mortgage Patriot, nestled here in the Hill Country above San Antonio, Texas, serving all you proud Texans and all you great folks all around the country. Today, we're going to talk about down payment assistance programs in 2025, because once again, they've changed from just last year alone. I'm going to go over three different examples. I'm going to start off with the first one that I always pick first because it's the one that has the least restrictions. So I like to go there first to see if you're qualified. I'll go over that one. Then I'll go over a typical down payment assistance program in your area, and I'll explain why I do that. And then lastly, I'll go to a national program that if those first two down payment assistance programs fail, then this is the fallback and the worst case scenario down payment assistance program that we can offer. So hopefully this will all help. And by the end of the video, you'll be well informed and ready to buy your first home. So let me give you a quick overview of down payment assistance programs, because there's literally thousands of them. And why are there thousands of them? Because not only do they have federal programs, they have state down payment programs, then they have county down payment programs, assistance programs, and they have city down payment assistance programs. So you can imagine with all the cities and all the counties, there's thousands of different programs out there. And of course, the whole point of down payment assistance program is to reduce or minimize the actual check you're going to write at closing. We want to get that as small as we can, right? So best thing to do, of course, is just try to get in touch with me, and we'll look up the specific county and or city programs in your area. But they all have guidelines. Let's go through those real fast. And they're all going to have, for example, usually income restriction. Because it's down payment assistance, it makes sense that if you make too much money, then you don't need the assistance. So they usually wrap that restriction around what they call area median income. For your particular area, if you make more than 80% of area median income, AMI, then likely you will not qualify for the down payment assistance. Also, they have debt to income ratio restrictions, meaning you can't have too much debt beyond the housing payment. So you can't have too much in credit cards and car payments and student loans, those kinds of things. If you exceed usually about 50% of your income, you're not going to be able to qualify for the program. And lastly, of course, they have credit score restrictions. Most of the time, you need a minimum credit score, about 620. A lot of the programs require 640. But don't worry if you're a little shy of those marks. I can help you with some ninja tricks, and we'll get those scores up in a short amount of time. So I said I was going to give you three examples of different programs that we could probably look at for you. And so the first program that I always check first, because it's got the least amount of restrictions, and we'll call that the HomeReady First program. It's a national program. So what does it do? Well, it's going to provide $5,000 worth of grant money to you, and it's only based on where you currently live. Doesn't matter where you're moving to. I'm going to show you a QR code here. It's going to pop up on the screen. If you look at that and hover over that, please, and fill out the questionnaire, it's going to capture your full address. And with that, we're going to find out if you're eligible for the grant. And if you don't make too much money, you're going to get up to $5,000 grant money to cover your closing costs. And you also get another $500 for home warranty coverage, which you're going to want. So $5,500, not bad. And it comes with a conventional loan of 3% down. Not a 3.5% down FHA, 3% down conventional loan. So very little down, $5,500 worth of help, and hardly any income restrictions. So that's always the first one I always check. That's why please hover again over that QR code and fill in that little information, and I'll let you know whether you're eligible for that grant. Simple enough. And so what's the impact of this grant on a $300,000 house roughly? Well, in the state of Texas anyway, a $300,000 house, you have three buckets of closing costs. You have your down payment bucket. In the case of an FHA, it's 3.5%. And with conventional, it's either 3 to 5%. Okay, so that's your first bucket. Your second bucket is your transaction cost. That's all your appraisal costs, your underwriting fees, your title fees, your processing fees, on and on, right? That adds up. And then lastly, your third bucket is prepaid. You got to prepay 12 months of insurance, and you have to pre-fund your property taxes and property insurance escrow account. So those are your three buckets. On a $300,000 house, that's going to be about $19,000 for all those three buckets. Okay, so for that grant that we talked about, the Home First Ready program, you're going to get $5,000 off of that. That takes you down from $19,000 to $14,000. And this is where I really shine, is structuring a contract properly with seller concessions. The selling party willing to give you back money at closing to help cover some of your closing costs. Why would they do that? Well, sometimes they don't want to do that, but if you negotiate properly, you can get those. And I always get at least 2%. So 2% of on a $300,000 property is $6,000. So if we take $6,000 more reduction on the closing costs, because we're going to get 2% hypothetically for seller concessions, we're going to go from $19,000 to $14,000 with the grant and $6,000 more down. Now we're at $8,000 of cash to close. Not bad for a $300,000 house. Now, frequently I can get a lot lower than that. In fact, I have a video here where I show 3 transactions where I took $200,000 to $300,000 houses and I got the cash to close figure all the way down to less than $1,000 a lot of times. That happens frequently. It doesn't happen every time. But let's talk about it, and I will show you how to structure the contract properly to incorporate either an FHA loan or a 3% down conventional loan. And we'll use a down payment assistance program, and we're going to use seller concessions. All three of those things are going to combine to minimize your cash to close figure. If you cannot qualify for that grant, that Home First Ready program, then I usually go straight to the county or the city program in your area. So put in the comment section what county or what city you're hoping to buy in, because this one is based on where you're going to be purchasing. Whereas that first program I checked out is based on where you live now, right? And they're going to have plenty of restrictions. They're all based on income levels, usually 80% of your AMI, the area median income, which I can help determine for you if you tell me, again, in the comment section where you're going to be purchasing. They're going to be based on debt to income ratio. Your debt cannot exceed 50% of your income. And then lastly, of course, your FICO scores. They usually need to be about 620 to 640 or better. After you conclude with this video, of course, check out this video right here because it dovetails into what we're talking about now, and it's called 5 Things You Must Understand When Trying to Buy a Home in 2025. So it's a great primer for first-time home buyers. It's even a great refresher for people that are buying their second or third home. So check that out, and you're going to learn a lot, and we'll go from there. If you cannot qualify for that HomeReady First program that is dedicated to where you live now, the second thing I look at is either the county or the city programs where you're hoping to buy in. So in the case of San Antonio, for example, they call it the HIP program, the HIP 120 program. What does it do? Well, it's going to give you $15,000 of closing cost coverage. That's incredible. Now, it puts it in a second lien. So listen very carefully. So you get $15,000. Remember we talked about on a $300,000 home, hypothetical, your closing costs are going to be about $19,000. Minus 15 from this program, and you're writing a check for about $4,000. And with seller concessions, you might even get that down to almost zero. Now again, because it's a city program or a county program, they're going to be more restrictive. It limits the amount of home you can buy, number one, to about $305,000, or with a new build, maybe $325,000. So they're going to have debt to income ratios like we talked about, probably about 50% to your income. If you exceed that, you probably won't be able to qualify. And of course, you have FICO minimums of about 620. In this case, I think it's 640 in the San Antonio area. But the income restrictions are based on how many people are actually in your household. So I think if it's just one person, it's about $74,000 you're allowed up income you're allowed up to. If you have 2 people in your homestead, you're allowed up to about $85,000 and so forth, as you see on the chart there. So the more people you have, of course, in your household, the more income that you're able to have and still have access to the program. So every county and city is going to have a little bit different deal, but they're going to be roughly these same kind of parameters. So in the case of San Antonio, for example, they put the $15,000 into a second lien. So what happens there? It's a silent second, meaning after a certain amount of time, usually after about 5 years, they start to pare down how much you actually will owe if you sell your home. If you sell your home between years 0 and 5, then you owe that $15,000. If you sell it between 5 and 10, depends on what year, you might owe 13, you might owe 11, you might owe 7, you might owe only 3. Again, they bring that $15,000 down every year between the years 5 and 10. So that's how San Antonio does it. Everybody's different. So again, put in the comments section where you're hoping to buy into, what city or what county, and I'll help you out from there. Okay, let's talk about the last resort down payment assistance program. So the first one, again, was the HomeReady First program grant. If you're not eligible for that based on where you live, we go to the second scenario of trying to look at county or city programs that are highly restrictive, but they still potentially can get done. But if those don't work for you, then our fallback, our last position is a second lien down payment assistance program. Now, this is a second lien you actually pay on. It's not silent. In the case of the city or the county programs, those are silent second liens. You don't pay on them unless you refinance your home or you sell your home within a certain amount of time. This you pay on right away. But what's it going to add? It's going to add about $80 or maybe a little bit more to your monthly bill. Let's go to our example. $300,000 house, FHA loan, 3.5% down. So this program would say, we're going to give you a second lien to cover that down payment of 3.5%. So we're going to give you a second lien of $10,500. But because of that, you're going from $19,000 cash to close minus $10,500 because the second lien is covering it. So now you're down to $8,500 as a check to write at closing. Not bad at all. And that still doesn't include seller concessions, which could get you down even lower. So those are the three ways in 2025 right now to tackle, bringing down your cash to closing, bringing in down payment assistance. I hope this helps you quite a bit. I'm Kevin Fagan, the Mortgage Patriot, on your side.